Hi guys, I figured it was about time that I tried. What's my shirt say? Make today amazing. Today amazing. About time that I tried creating my own tutorial so that you'd hear it in my voice. All right, whether you like it or not. So what we're going to be doing today is we are learning how to use Photopea. I will say over and over again that it is so similar to Photoshop, a little bit slower, but it's a really good free program. So what we're going to be doing is open up Photopea. You can just click on it right there. It may take a second to open up on your screen, and I think we can hide me for now. You don't really need me. All right, so it may take a second to open up on your screen. Today we're going to start with the basics. I usually jump in with crazy stuff. I want to keep it simple this time and get you guys knowing some simple, basic stuff about digital art. So, first off, I am going to make this screen so it's a little bit bigger because that's annoying. So Photopea will open like this. Looks a lot like Photoshop, except you have advertisements over here. You have history, layers, you have tools. You have all kinds of stuff up here. If you ever don't know where something is, look under window. That's where everything is. All right. So what we need to do first today is instead of working with a photo we are going to be creating a document. So we're going to create a few of them. We're going to go File, New. And there's all kinds of options here. They always want you to use their kitschy templates. We're going to ignore those for now. This stuff up here in the future, I may give you specifications as to what I want. For now, we're going to keep it with prints, and we're going to choose letter. You'll notice that when I do prints and I do letter, the DPI is 300, which is a print resolution. If I was to go to screen mode and I was to choose something, it automatically goes to 72. It's because we don't need as good of a resolution for the screen. But for prints, we need a good resolution. So we're going to start out with print, and we're going to go to letter. Make sure you're at like 8.5 by 11, 11 by 8.5. If you wanted to change it to horizontal, you could do it right here. All right. And we're going to say create. And we're going to get really good at doing this. We're going to do this 4 more times. Ready? It's like a workout for the mind. So we're going to go File. We're going to go New, which is at the top. We're going to go 8.5 by 11. Oh, we didn't have to do that. Just letter size. And we can create. We're going to do another one. File, New. Bippity boppity boo. And create. We're going to do it 2 more times. File, New. You guys are getting so strong. So proud of you. File, New, letter, create. 1 more time. File, New, letter, create. All right. So we have all these little tabs up here, little pieces of paper that we can work on. And after we do one slightly involved play with brushes thing, we're going to play a drawing game to see how, you'll just go to a new one and you'll draw something really fast, and go to another new one and draw something really fast. Just trying to get you used to the brushes. So the thing we are highlighting here today is the brush tool. All right. You feasibly could use your fingers and the trackpad to draw, but it's not going to be all that great. All right. So if you can find even a cheap mouse somewhere, get a cheap mouse. If you are lucky enough to have a beautiful tablet, pen tablet, those are fantastic to draw with. So either way, but we're starting on slow. So we are looking for the brush tool. The brush tool is right here. It looks like a paintbrush. That is fantastic. All right. And the color of the brush right now is on green. I could change that by going up here, saying, oh, I want the sky blue. I could go to tints, which is a color plus white. I could go to shades, which is a color plus black. All right. This is RGB, red, green, blue. If you really liked your piece, you might want to export it to CMYK and then print it, although I never see much difference. So I'm going to pick a color. Bam, I got a color. It's right down there. I hit say OK. I'm going to go up to the brushes because there's more than one brush. So I could start out with a brush like this, and it's a really small brush, so I can just do something simple. All right, so that did one thing. Let's try a different brush. Let's try a different color. So let's go here. I always like sort of weird off colors. So do that. You can't just click out of it, though. You have to click OK. All right. Now, right off the bat, I'm going to tell you something. If I wanted to draw big paint strokes underneath these and I didn't want to touch that, all I have to do is go add another layer. Now, you probably have to unlock this bottom layer, but if I take that blank layer and I draw it underneath my linear layer, I'm good to go. So I'm going to grab this. I am going to make this a big fat paintbrush. I love big fat paintbrushes. All right. Super big. Weird green color. I'm going to paint. Might be a little bit of a lag. Oh, this is so interesting. Let me go to this layer here. Go back here. Oh, man. What it's doing is doing something. It's making it so that that top layer was not transparent, but it was white. So that's a pain in the butt. But let's just erase that top layer. There are ways to make a layer transparent. Like I could just add a layer that's transparent. Actually, let's just trash this layer. I'll show you that. So I have a layer, that grid is transparent. So now I could hop up to this layer. I could change the brush. Try a different brush. Try a different color. Say okay. And I could paint right on top of, and it's not going to cause a problem. And I could keep rearranging those things and having fun. So I go to the bottom layer. I could try another brush. Let's try something like that. Let's go hard. And you can adjust this hardness too. That does different things too. Although it's not letting me adjust it on this brush. I want like a awesome red now. Get into the colors, you guys. Yeah, that's kind of good. So maybe I go like this and see what this does. Look at that. That's cool. It's lagging for sure. So we got to be a little bit patient. But look what that does when I pop that behind that. It's kind of gorgeous. All right. So all I want you to do is make some abstract art on one of these, all right? And then what we'll do at some point in class is I'm going to say, hop off of that one, let's go to a different one, and let's draw something different, okay? But if you drew abstract compositions, that would be fine. The question will come up, how do I make the background white so it's not transparent? What we could do is we could just go behind everything, and we could use a paint bucket. If I can find a paint bucket. Here's a paint bucket. And I could use a pure white. If I go up to the corner, I'll get pretty white. And on that layer, if I do it up here, I'm going to cover it. On that layer, I'm going to go like this. Boom. Okay. So it's a beautiful piece. For what we're doing today, I want you to turn at least one of these magnificent things you create in. So the way to do that, there's two ways to save. So file, and you can say, most people are used to in Photoshop saying save as. Here we say file, export as. We export as a JPEG. This is the answer to the quiz question. What's the difference between a JPEG and a Photoshop file? A JPEG will smash all those files together, so you wouldn't really be able to go back and work on it again. But for what we're doing right now, that's fine. Let's JPEG it. And don't worry about that, just say save. Now what's still open here is sort of like a Photoshop file or a Photopea file with all my layers. So if I wanted to come back in and work with the layers, I could do it, but you've got to do something slightly different. In that case, you have to say save as a PSD, which is actually what a Photoshop file is called. So save as a PSD. Now it's downloading them down here, so that's kind of a pain. Let me escape out of here for a second. So you want to locate where these things are, and obviously on my Mac. So I go to the files on my Mac and I see downloads, all right? And I see new project, which is a terrible name for it. This was one I was working on earlier. It's fantastic. If I just right click there, I can rename. Really get in the habit of renaming things. Hang on. uh, bold peg. If you don't rename them, you're just going to have a bunch of things that you have no idea what the thing is called. So, file, rename. I think I'll call that floating green. That's my JPEG file. I'm going to go here. I just opened it up by accident. Rename. I'm going to call that floating green also. Oh, that's beautiful. So I'm going to go here, right click. Right click. You're not right clicking. Even people who've done this for a long time mess up. So right click, rename, floating green. I'm calling it the same thing. Does that matter? No, it does not matter because one is a floating green PSD file that's 32.7 megabytes, which is huge. One is floating green JPEG, which is only 299 kilobytes, which isn't even a megabyte. All right. That tells you too the difference between JPEGs and PSD. So where do we go with them from there? Well, you have them in your downloads, not the best place to save things. So the last thing I'm going to say to you is at the end of the day, let's make sure that you have a folder in your Google Drive. I have plenty of graphic design folders because I'm always creating new graphic design folders and digital art. Let's go to digital art. Yeah, I don't even know what this is. So I'm going to go open up a digital. You could obviously create a new. I should have done that. I should be like new folder, digital art 2020. Create. Have it there. New file upload. What am I going to upload? The gorgeous things that I just created. I'm going to upload bold peg. Open. I'm also going to upload file new. Floating green. I can hold my shift key. Whoops. Should be able to do floating green JPEG and floating green PSD. All right. So we're going to go ahead, open those, upload those. So now you have them in your Google Drive. You know, you can't necessarily preview a PSD in Google Drive, but you can save it there. It's a storage locker, and it's a safe place in case your computer crashes to have it there. So let's go back to Photopea. So what we'll do now is we'll do that, and then we're going to play the game where I'm going to call a random word, and we're going to do a quick draw. Sometimes the best stuff you do is when you're not thinking, and then we'll go here and we'll do a quick draw, and we'll just have some fun with the brush tool today. And hopefully I didn't go too long. I'll get the hang of this, and awesome. All right.